Hi everybody, welcome to this week's Yarn Scrap Friday video crochet tutorial. And this week I'm going to be showing you, as some of you might recognise this, I'm going to be showing you how to make an Amish puzzle ball. And these are quite popular at the moment, doing crochet versions of the Amish puzzle ball. These never actually used to be puzzle balls, they used to be pin cushions, and they go by a few different names such as Whimsy Ball, I think is one of the old fashion names, but over time they've been designed so you can take them apart and put them back together like a simple puzzle, which are brilliant for children. And this version that I've designed does involve a lot of sewing, so you're going to be patient with the sewing, but it does mean that I have kept the crocheting as simple as I can, so to make this accessible for everyone. Hopefully in time I can design one that's more about crocheting and there's a lot less sewing. We'll see, but yeah, let's show you how to make an Amish puzzle ball. Okay, so we're going to be using 4 different colours. What you want to do is you want to choose 3 actual colours and then what I call a base colour, which will appear on all 3 parts of the puzzle. And I'm going to be using some of our very own yarn, some Happy Berry Baby Snuggles yarn, and this is a DK light worsted weight yarn. That's a yarn weight of 3, and I've chosen to use our silver grey, our peachy pink colour, and our tea green, and I'm going to be using our snow white, our white snow, as our base colour as well. And you're going to be using a 3.5mm E crochet hook, and you're also going to need a pair of scissors and a yarn needle for tying in those ends and for sewing together as well. And you're also going to be needing some toy stuffing as well. You can use yarn scraps, but we're going to be using quite a bit of toy stuffing, so it might be worth investing in some 100% polyester toy stuffing. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, so the main part of the puzzle is actually made up of these diamond shapes, and we need to make quite a few of these diamond shapes. You need to make 36 of these diamond shapes. Now, if I bring in one of the completed sets, as I call them, made up of 4 of these balls, each ball is made up of 3 of these diamond shapes. Okay, so you've got 1 in white and you've got 2 in the same colour, in another colour. So, and for each ball there's 3 of these diamond shapes, and you need to make 4 balls. That's going to be 3 times 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you need 12 of these diamond shapes per set, and we need 3 of these sets. And what I've done is I've done 4 diamond shapes in white, and I've done 8, 2, 4, 6, 8 in a colour. So for this one I've done in green and white, and for this one I've done in pink and white, and for the last one I'm going to be doing it in grey. And here we are before I've sewn them all together. So as you can see, I've got 8 of the colour, 2, 4, 6, 8, and you need 4 in the white, and I've got 3 at the moment, and I'm going to show you how to make the last one so you know how to make the diamond shape. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make the diamond shape. So to make the diamond shape you are using pretty much just the half double crochet stitch. So taking our white, because I need to make just 1 more white, so I shall show you in the white. Let's put those over there. First thing to do is to chain 2. So we take our colour or our white, whatever we're working, and we chain 2. 1 and 2. Then we need to start working some half double crochets, and this is in US terminology. So to do a half double crochet you yarn over, and we're going to go into that very first chain. So going into that first chain we're going to do a half double crochet. Just bring the yarn through, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops to do a half double crochet. And we need to do 3 of these, so I'm going to go yarn over and go back into that first chain again and do another half double crochet. And then I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to go back into the first chain again to do another half double crochet. So we end up with 3 half double crochets all in that first chain. So you've you've got 3 stitches on that, what's going to be our first row. Then what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1. We're going to chain 1, and we're not going to count this as a stitch. We're going to ignore it as a stitch count in our stitch count. It's just going to be used as a bit of space to turn our work. And then we're going to turn our work, and we're going to work into these 1, 2, 3 stitches. And we're going to, on this row, we're just going to do 1 half double crochet in each stitch across. So we're going to go into that first stitch, and do a half double crochet. And then we're going to yarn over and go into the next stitch and do a half double crochet. And we're going to yarn over and we're going to go into the last stitch, and the last stitch always curls up on the end. So what I do is I just find it like that using my finger and do another half double crochet. So you do 1 half double crochet in each stitch across, starting in that very first stitch. So you've still got a stitch count of 3. Then we're going to chain 1 again, and don't count that as a stitch, it just hovers on the end, and turn our work again. And in that first stitch we're going to do 2 half double crochet this time. So we go into that first stitch and do 1 half double crochet, yarn over it and go back into the same stitch again and do another half double crochet. So you end up with 2 in there for an increase. Then in the middle one, the next stitch, we're just going to do 1 half double crochet, just the 1. And then in the last stitch we're going to do an increase again, so we're going to do 2 half double crochets in that last stitch. So finding that last stitch, we're going to do 1 half double crochet and then yarn over again. We're going to go back into it, the same last stitch, and do another half double crochet. So our stitch count has now gone up to 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to chain 1 and turn. Don't count it as a stitch. We're just going to do 1 half double crochet in each stitch across, so just a normal row. So we go into that first stitch and do a half double crochet. Then we go into the next stitch and do a half double crochet. Then we go into the next stitch and do a half double crochet. Into the next stitch, do a half double crochet, and then finding that last one, it's tucked on the end, and do a half double crochet. So you've still got a stitch count of 5, just a normal row as I call it. And then we chain 1 and turn. And in that first stitch we're going to do 2 half double crochets. We're going to do an increase this time, so do 1 half double crochet, yarn over and go back into the same first stitch again and do another one. So you've got 2 in there, 2 half double crochets. Then we're going to do 1 half double crochet in the next 3, which takes us to our last stitch. Let's do a half double crochet by itself in the next stitch, half double crochet by itself in the next stitch, then a half double crochet by itself in the next stitch. So you've done 1 half double crochet in the next 1, 2, 3, which takes you to your last stitch. And in that last stitch we're going to do 2 half double crochets. Okay, so 1 and go back into the same last stitch and do another. Okay, so your stitch count has now gone up to 7. 2, 4, 6, 7. Then we do a normal row, so we chain 1, turn, then just do 1 half double crochet in each stitch across. You've still got a stitch count of 7, so 1 by itself in that first one, 1 in the next one, 2, 1 in the next one, 3, in the next one, 4, 1 in the next one, 5, 1 in the next one, 6, and 1 in the next one, or the last one, 7. So you should still have a stitch count of 7. So we do a normal row after each increase or decrease row. Okay, so now it's half of our diamond shape done, and now we need to decrease to go back down to a point. So what we're going to do after our normal row is chain 1, turn, then we're going to half double crochet 2 stitches together. So to do that we yarn over, we go into that very first stitch and bring the yarn through. but we stop. We don't yarn over and pull through all 3 like we would a normal half double crochet. So we stop there, yarn over again and go into the next stitch and bring the yarn through. So you end up with 5 loops on your hook. Then we yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. It can be a little bit tricky, but if you point your hook down and then twist it up, it makes it a little bit easier. That half double crochets 2 stitches together. And then we're going to do a half double crochet in the next 3. So we do a half double crochet by itself in the next stitch, 1 half double crochet by itself in the next stitch, 1 half double crochet by itself in the next stitch, which leaves you with 2 stitches, and we're going to half double crochet those 2 together as well. So we yarn over, go into the second to last stitch, bring the yarn through, so you've got 3 loops, but stop, yarn over again and go into that last stitch, then bring the yarn through, so you end up with your 5 loops. And then we yarn over and pull through all 5 loops, like so. Okay, then we're just going to do a normal row, so we're going to chain 1 just like before and turn. We're going to do 1 half double crochet in each stitch across, and our stitch count has gone back down to 5 now. It's just got 5 stitches. So we do a half double crochet in the next stitch, in that very first stitch, half double crochet in the next stitch, half double crochet by itself in the next stitch, half double crochet by itself in the next stitch, then half double crochet by itself in that last stitch. Okay, so you've still got a stitch count of 5. Then we chain 1, turn, and then we're going to half double crochet the first 2 together again. So we yarn over and go into that first stitch and bring the yarn through, but stop, yarn over again and go into the second stitch and bring the yarn through. So you've got your 5 loops. I need to change the lighting in here because the sun's coming out. And then we just yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. Okay, so I'm just going to change the light and I'll come back. So once you've half double crocheted the first 2 together, we then, just in the middle one, do a half double crochet by itself. So just 1 half double crochet by itself. That leaves you with 2 stitches, and we're going to half double crochet those 2 together. So we yarn over, go into the second to last stitch, bring the yarn through, stop when you've got your 3 loops, yarn over again, and go into the very last stitch, bring the yarn through, so you've got your 5 loops. Then we yarn over, pull through all 5. Okay, and that reduces your stitch count down to 3 again. 1, 2, 3. Then we do a normal row, so we chain 1, turn, and do half double crochet in that first stitch, half double crochet by itself in the next stitch, then a half double crochet by itself in the last stitch. So you've still got a stitch count of 1, 2, 3. Then what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to half double crochet all those three last stitches together. So we're going to yarn over, go into that first stitch, bring the yarn through, then stop, yarn over, go into the second stitch just like when we were half double crocheting 2 together, bring the yarn through, so you've got your 5 loops, but then we're going to yarn over again and go into the last stitch. It can be a bit fiddly, and bring the yarn through, so you end up with 7 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we yarn over and pull through all 7. Give it a little wiggle with your hook facing down, and it should go through, and then we finished. So we cut our yarn, just cut it there, and then just to finish a project, all you do once you've cut your yarn is you just pull the yarn through like so. Creates a little knot on the end. It's quite a loose knot, as you can see, because you've worked through so many loops, but we're going to sew that into place to get a nice point. So what you need to do now is you need to make 36 of these diamond shapes. So, and you need to make 8 in one colour, 8 in another colour, and 8 in another colour, and then you want to do 4, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You need to do 12 in white. Okay, 12 in white. So you've got a total of 36 diamond shapes. So once you've done that, come back and I will show you how to sew these tail ends in to get the right point. Okay, so when you've finished making all your diamond shapes, here I've got the last set to make. So I've made the green ones and I've made the pink one. I'm just finished making the grey one. And to sew in the ends, what we do is you get your yarn needle, and the end we finished with where we crocheted through all these loops, what you want to do is just sew our tail end onto our needle. And to get that into shape, what I do is, you can see all the loops there that we worked through, is I come right over to the farthest loop this side and just thread my needle back to where the tail end's coming out, like so, and then just pull, and it creates a nice point. And just to finish off, I just make sure that my yarn is right in that corner, like so, right in that point, and then we just hide the tail end. So I just go through some stitches like so, and then you can trim off the excess like that. So that's how you finish off the tail end there. And then the beginning one, what I do with the beginning tail end, just to make this look nice and neat, is you can see there's a bit of a gap between there. So what I do is I sew just slightly into the end, just to close that gap, but it creates a little dimple on the ends, and I like to keep a point. So what I do is I then sew slightly to the right of the knot, I sew back out again. There we go, and it creates a nice point. And then same again, we just hide our tail end. But when you come in, you don't want to pull too tightly, because you want to keep that point. And just go back in the opposite direction a little bit, like so, and then just trim the excess down. Okay, so that's how you finish off your tail ends on your diamonds, and you need to do that for all your diamond pieces, and I recommend doing them as you go to save a big job at the end. So I'm going to tie in all these tail ends the same way and then come back and show you what to do next. Okay. Okay, so when you finish sewing in all your ends, you should have something that looks a little bit like this. You should have 8 coloured ones and 2, 4, 6, 8, yes, 8 coloured ones and 4 white ones. So what you want to do now is divide up 2 colours and 1 white for each ball that we're going to put together. So there we go. So we take 3 of our diamond shapes. These will also make really good leaves as well, really good leaf shape. And what we need to do is we need to sew these together. And this pattern obviously has a lot of sewing involved, but the reason for that is so that it's easier on the crocheting, so it's not as complicated with the crocheting. I will have to design a pattern, I think, for an Amish puzzle ball that has less sewing. So what I do is I try and match up the lines as best I can, like so they face in the right way. But all I do basically is I get a length of the white. I've been sewing it all together with the white yarn, and sew the ends together like so. And then, rather than going over from side to side, as many people normally sew, what I'm going to do is actually go over on the same colour and then go down onto the opposite piece of the diamond. That makes sense. And then I'm going to go over on the white a little bit and then come up on the grey. And I just repeat this over on the grey, down onto the white. Just repeat it until you've got a tiny hole left where we stuff it. So let's speed up this video and show you what I mean. Okay, so keep just going over on the grey, whatever colour you've done, and then down onto the white. And then when you're on the white, we go over on the white and up on the grey. And hopefully you can see all right in this awful lighting. Now it's almost coming to winter. It's just really bad weather. It's all grey, dark and miserable. It's getting darker quicker. Okay, so I'm going to speed this up and then I'm going to come back and show you what to do after that. Okay, so when you get to the end, like so, what you need to do is then join the third piece. So matching up the lines a little bit as best you can. I'm on the grey at the moment, I'm just going to go into the top of the other diamond shape and bring that down, and then I'm going to go over on the grey, just keep into the same method, and then I'm going to come out onto the white. Pull that nice and tight, and then we continue the same method down the white. To the other end, all we then do is just finish up sewing these two colours together. We need to leave a little hole there for stuffing. Okay. Okay, so when you've got a hole left about that size, what you want to do is get some toy stuffing or your yarn scraps, and then we just stuff our little three-dimensional leaf now, really. And you want it firm, but not like overly firm that it spreads the yarn apart, the project apart, but you want it firm enough so it keeps its shape, but don't overstuff it. Okay, so I'm going to stuff this. Okay, so that's a pretty good shape, I think, and then all that's left to do is to finish sewing up your little three-dimensional leaf, as it were, in the same way that you were sewing before, going over, then down, then over and up. Finished sewing it up, you can just shape it so the stuffing's evenly spread, and then with the longer tail we're going to keep that for sewing them together, but we want to hide this tail end. So to hide a tail end, all we do is thread it onto a yarn needle and then go into your project somewhere, then just come out for a stitch, it doesn't matter where, and then just that'll disappear on the inside. Don't pull too tightly because it will distort. And then my yarn's getting a bit small now, so I'm just going to thread the needle through and come out, say, over there, doesn't matter where rather. And then just before I poke the needle through, I'll thread my short piece of yarn on and then pull that through like so. Then what I do is I push the project down and just hold the tail end with my fingers and then trim as close as I can get, and then let go, and then the tail end, when the project bounces back, the tail end disappears on the inside. So what you need to do now is just keep the tail end for now, and we need to repeat that for all the other pieces. So you need to make another 3 of these 3-dimensional leaves which have 3 leaf diamond shapes on it. Okay, so just repeat that for all your other shapes, for the other colours as well, and then I shall come back and show you what to do. Okay, so I've finished sewing all these together. I've got 4 of these now, and they've all got a long tail. They sort of look like weird tadpoles. So you should have 4 of these, each with 3 diamond shaped parts to them, 2 in a colour and 1 in white. So what we need to do now is sew all these together, and we need to sew them together like this. So basically in a kind of circle shape, and you just sew them together at each corner, making sure to line up the white with the white. If you have done different colours, you might have just done all one colour. So what you do is really simple. You just literally, probably fed up of sewing by now. I'll have to design one of these. It involves less sewing when I get time. But all you do is you thread on the yarn needle and find one of the ends that doesn't have the tail end, and we're just literally going to sew these together. You can of course do a much neater job, and we're going to line up the white to the white like so, and this time I am actually just going to go over and over and over. So I'm going to go over to this side now, pull nice and tight, and just keep sewing them together like this, going from one side to the other until they're firmly sewn together. And when you've firmly sewn them together, we're just literally going to hide our tail ends exactly the same way as we hid the other tail ends. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to join all these together. So I'm going to sew those 2 together, and then I'm going to get another tail end and sew that to the non-tail end there, and the same again with this one, until you end up with something that looks a little bit like this, and then you're pretty much finished. So I'm going to sew these together, and then I shall come back and show you how to put it together, which will be a spoiler alert because it is technically a puzzle and the idea is to figure out how to put it together, but I will show you at the end how to put it together. So if you don't want to know and you want to figure it out yourself, then don't watch the end of it. Okay, so let's get sewing these together. Okay, so when you've sewn those all together and you've got a line of little leaf, 3-dimensional leaf ball things, what you need to do is just join them into a circle, making sure again to line up the white with the white nice and evenly, and we just sew those together. Okay. Nice and tight. Okay, so when you finish sewing them together, it should look a little something like this, and you should be able to turn them inside out. So you could have the colour on the outside, or you can have the white on the outside if you want to. But yes, so now I'm going to say you should have 3 of these in different colours, and now is going to be a spoiler alert. So if you don't want to know how to put the puzzle together into a ball, then look away now, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon for some more crochet fun. But if you want to know how to put these together, then carry on watching. So to put these together, all you do is we're going to pop one of these inside, and we're going to line up the white like so, so they sit on their little joins as it were, so it looks a little something like that. And then all you do once you've got those together is you then get this one and you put it over the top of these 2. And this is a very famous puzzle anyway. I remember playing with a very similar thing that was a wooden puzzle when I was little, and I love the fact that this has been put into a material design and a crochet design. I think it's awesome for little kids. So there we go. And just squeeze it into shape, and there is your completed Amish ball. And of course you can turn it around so we can make it colourful instead. So twist it round so the colours show instead of white. And we got left the grey one as well. So the white is then on the inside. There you go, you've got a colour ball instead. So I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. I hope you managed to follow along. Like I said, you're going to have a lot of patience with this particular design because it involves a lot of sewing, but I wanted to make the crocheting really easy, or easier than if I did it so it involved less sewing. But if you've got the patience to make this, it's a really fun little toy for children to play with. And yeah, just a good puzzle fun. But cheers for watching, guys. I will see you soon for some more crochet fun. I am reading your comments with regards to the letters. I will do another letter video soon for the alphabet series. I've got only a few letters left to do, and my next video will be for the letter T and the letter U, which have been the most requested, so I will do that soon, I promise. So it's just about finding the time. But yeah, I'll see you soon. Cheers, guys. Bye.